All right, here we go. So this is what I'm calling a 9-minute big life experience. And as the title suggests, in 9 minutes, basically I'm going to convey an experience that I've had, or maybe one of my guests have had, and try to condense it down into a bite-sized chunk that you, the listener, can take away some sort of learning and something that you can implement to either build your confidence or have more control of a situation or whatever it might look like. The reason I'm doing 9 minutes is because in my own personal life, I've got this 10-minute daily calm exercise for meditation, and I never seem to find the time to do it. So fingers crossed, just by reducing it down to 9 minutes, everybody who's time poor, including myself, has an opportunity to just dive into this thing, get what they need out of it, and then carry on with their day. So, without further ado, this being the first episode, what I thought I would kick off with is an experience that I had while I was hitchhiking in Gisborne, or I was actually hitchhiking from Wellington up to Gisborne, right around the east coast and back to Wellington. And so I found myself in this town or this city called Gisborne in the North Island of New Zealand. Now, if you're not familiar with it, jump onto Google, tell it all you need, or pretty much all you need to know. Anyway, in the space of arriving in this place, I knew nobody. I didn't know anyone there. I had one contact, but that person was actually that person was on holidays, outside of the city. And so I thought, right, how am I going to strategically put myself into positions where I'm going to meet people and I'm going to have an awesome time? In one night, in less than 24 hours from arriving, I ended up having dinner and drinks with the band Catch a Fire. They're a Kiwi band, they're pretty big. Well, they used to be anyway. I also went out and had drinks with 4 young ladies who were out in the town and had a really cool time with them. And then after that, I ended up getting taken through the drive-thru at McDonald's and dropped off back at home to enjoy like a real late night munchies. But the bit I'll focus on at the moment is actually they're having drinks and dinner with Catch a Fire, because I took a real strategic approach to doing this, and it's something everybody can do, but I don't think people realize like what are the bits and pieces, what are the pieces that you put together to make this kind of event happen. So as I mentioned, I'm in a place, don't know anybody. I thought, how am I going to meet people? So I went to an Irish pub. It's probably about 5 in the afternoon. Find out where the local Irish pub is at, and then I head there, because if you're going to go and try and meet people, a pub is much better than, say, a cafe or even a restaurant. So I go to this place and I walk in there, and it's just deathly quiet. There's no one in there. What I'm looking for is a table that is in the center of the room that has good visibility of everybody that's coming in, everybody who's in there, and the bar. I want something that's well lit, and I want well lit so that other people can see me and they can determine whether I'm a threat or not. And I want something that has got more than 2 seats to it. Now, the reason why I want that is because when it starts to fill out, there's going to be a time where somebody's going to need a seat, and lo and behold, I've got that. So I find my desired target table, but unfortunately there's already people sitting there, so I grab the next best thing. While I'm there, I order a drink from the bar, have a quick chat to the barman, kind of introduce myself and build a connection there, but also build a rapport with them so that later on, I can continue having conversations. Put my head down, I start having my drink and, order my meal, and then kind of get back into my own world as I'm drinking my drink. And, within half an hour, I don't know, the place seats maybe 50 to 70 people, and the next time I pay much more attention, it's packed. Not long after that, a group of guys come in, they come to the bar, and I hear them having a conversation with the barman. And he says, look, sorry, but, as you can see, we're all full, so we're not going to be able to help you because these guys are wanting some dinner. I thought, cool, now's the time to kind of unlock this situation that I've created. And so I turned to one of the guys, there's 3 of them, and I said, hey, look, there's 3 seats here. If you don't mind sharing it with me, you're more than welcome to grab it and have a seat. So they took me up on the offer. They end up sitting down and introduce myself. My meal arrives, their meal arrives, and we get along like a house on fire, and it's awesome. And we have a really cool time. A few drinks, a few laughs, and all the rest. And yeah, that really kicked off, and that really was enabled, as I said, because I had done a few things prior to that point that kind of made that situation inevitable. So my recommendation is that if you're ever in a situation where you're hoping to meet people, don't do that thing that a lot of people find themselves doing, and that's hiding behind their phones in the corner of a room and in a dimly lit area, particularly if you're a guy. It makes no sense to me. Just to recap what I did, I looked for a table that was well lit. I looked for a place that was in the center of the room so that people could see me and I could see them. I made sure that there was more than one seat available at where I was sitting, because if one person comes in and they're looking for a seat, they're probably going to be not as comfortable sitting with a stranger or even wanting to talk to you. But if there's two or three of them, they're kind of bringing their own vibe in and having that join with yours. What were the other things? Yeah, and also, as I mentioned, building a rapport with the bar staff, and yeah, I guess just being open-minded enough to say, you know what, I'm going to put myself in this slightly uncomfortable position, but I've also got a lot of the control, because when I looked at these guys, and a couple of these guys are big dudes, but I was comfortable saying, hey, you're welcome to sit with me. If this was a person who was maybe a lot more slight than I am, or female, I don't know, you've still got that control, and you can still not offer it to anybody. You're still completely entitled to just sit there and enjoy your meal and have your drink and whatever. But it does also, as I mentioned, give you that chance to say, hey, you know what, I've assessed you and as you've come in, because I saw you coming in through the door, and I've determined that you're going to be safe enough for me to, to hang out with for a little bit and enjoy a meal and whatnot from there. Cool. So I'm going to cap it there. I'm going to push pause right there on that particular story. But that was an example of, once again, not to overuse the phrase, but really strategically approaching a situation so that the cards all fell in my favor, and anybody can do this. This is not something that is unique to me. Like, literally anybody can do what I've done. That first experience set the tone for future experiences that evening. And I'll pick those up in other podcasts. But ultimately, I think what was really beneficial was going in with an open mind, knowing what I wanted to do, having a plan to implement that, and then just getting out there and doing it. Cool. Man, that was 8 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm going to cap it there, and then you can have the rest of that time back in your day, and we'll catch up soon. All right, later.